Okay, this talk today, and this, by the way, is the first in a series of talks. These are really reflections of what I'm thinking at this particular point in time about life, and is all going to be part of my blog. So this is the very, very first one. And the disclaimer I always give on all of my talks is these talks are really designed to stimulate you with your own worldview and your own model, and hopefully give you something to think about. But my goal is not to have followers. My goal is really to have people that have really thought things through and come up to their own conclusion and take these ideas and build from them and make them even better. So what I'm going to talk to you about today is how you use your mind to be able to get more of the results that you want. And there's a basic premise behind what I'm going to be talking about, and that is the premise that could be best described in the words, a self-fulfilling prophecy. Now, what I mean by that is if I say something about myself, and I really, really, really believe it to be true, even though it may not be true, if I believe it to be true, then I'll start behaving in ways that will make it manifest over a period of time. So in other words, if I were to say, I'm obese, I'm obese and I'm really, really lazy, and I began to say that over and over and over again and really believed it, well, the natural question is, would I exercise? Of course not. Okay? Would I eat right? Well, of course not. And if I said, why don't I eat right? Why don't I exercise? I would say to you, well, that's what obese people who are lazy do. They just don't exercise and they don't eat. And then in a year or 2 years, if you saw me, then my body would begin to match that self-fulfilling prophecy. And my suggestion in today's talk is that's what we do in every single area. And one of the basic problems that we all have is we give far too much attention to what we call the truth. We have situations in our life that we don't like, that we're not happy with, and we say, I have to accept that situation, and that's what I'm going to talk about, and that's what I'm going to focus on, because after all, it's the truth. Now let's go back to that story really quick about the person that says that they're obese, they're really fat, and they're really, really, really lazy. The question I have for you is, when a person makes that statement to themselves and begins to believe it, even though it's not true, and it becomes true, the question is, when they say it to themselves, at the time when they first start telling it to themselves, is it true? And most of us would say, no, it isn't true yet. It isn't true yet. And so my suggestion to all martial arts students who want to benefit from this talk is begin to tell the story of not what is true, but begin to tell the story of what is not true yet. And always add that little word, yet. Tell the story of your relationships the way you want them to be. And if somebody comes along and says, well, yeah, but is it true? Or even if you say it to yourself in your own negative self-talk, you say, well, it's not true yet, but it will be. And I promise you that if you will study this very carefully and work very, very hard on the way you use your mind, in a period of time, those things that are not true yet will become your new truth, will become your new reality. And that's true of martial arts skills and techniques. It's also true of every area of your life. You see, your life is literally in the palm of your hand. You want to become the great author, you want to become the great storyteller. You tell the story of your life the way you want it to be, as opposed to the way it is. And when the story that you tell about the way you want it to be becomes more practiced, becomes more visible, becomes more apparent, becomes more comfortable than the story of where it is, you're going to begin to notice that where it is begins to manifest and change to match the story. So those are my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed the very first talk, and I hope you enjoy the rest. Have a great rest of your day.